All right, so our next video is going to be working with two letters and trying to smash them together. So let's first start by creating the new model using millimeters, because we want to be able to size it to a reasonable size. Take out Bob, and I'm going to make it called with my name, the color I want, and what the object is. So I'll just call it letters. Make sure you save it in the right folder so you don't lose it. Okay, here we go. So let's start with a letter. I'm going to use D for my name, and you can choose the font, make it bold or italicized or something. I'm just going to leave it regular. And then we want the height to be something reasonable. So like when we were measuring our fingers, we were saying the width was like 20 millimeters or 2 centimeters. So we probably want this thing to be more like 60 millimeters, I'd say, 75, somewhere around there. So I'll leave the height there, take off the text extrusion, and leave it filled. Okay. Now that I have my letter, zoom in to see what I'm doing. Cool. So I'm just going to place it on the origin right there. And now I'm going to explode it so that I can push-pull it up into a 3D block. And I want to make it tall enough that I can push-pull another letter through that. But first, let's get it not laying down. I want it standing up. So in order to rotate it, I'm going to go to the Rotate tool. And I'm going to try to get a good view from the side so that I can rotate it on the side. Clicking on the midpoint here. Clicked once, and now wherever you click on the second time kind of is like your lever. Picture like you have a big stick coming out of that point, and that's where you're turning it like on a crank or a lever. So the farther out you click, the more sensitive it is. Oh, I need to group it because it's taking my thing into pieces. So triple click, put it back in a group so that when I move it, it doesn't twist it. It actually moves the whole object. So back to this, if I click on the midpoint, and now I can place my lever and I can turn it however I want. And I'm going to want to turn it to be standing up. There we go. So now it's standing up. You can see it's kind of rotated to the side though. So I can mess with that a little bit, try to make it level. Okay. It's not super important that it's perfectly flat. I'm going to start push-pulling another letter through it. Okay, so now that I've got the D, I want to add an S. Try to think about where you would want to place the other letter. I'm going to put mine right here. So let's go to the letter section under shapes. Letter S, same height. Okay. And I'm going to place it out in front of my letter D. If I place it on the D, that's going to get kind of messy because it gets attached and it messes things up. So I'm just going to place it out to the side right here. And I'm going to do the same thing, push-pull it up after I explode it. I'm actually going to match it to, well, I want it to be as wide or as deep. I'll just match it to the top and we'll see what we get. Okay, now I want to turn the S. So again, I'm going to group it and use my rotate. I want it to be standing as well. So just like before, clicking on the side, making my lever and rotating it. And now it's in the right position. I just need to move it next to the D, and it also needs to be turned the other direction like this. I want it to go through the D. So you'll see more what I'm saying once I show you. Let's get on top. There we go. Okay. Now see, it's starting to go through the D already. I want my move tool now. Okay, sweet. This is exactly what I was talking about. So I'm going to push it through the letter D like that until it's intersecting on all spots. So back through a little bit. So you can see the top is going through, the bottom is through. It's popping out on both sides, which is great because now this very important step you got to do to make it pretty much close to finished is highlight all of it with your select tool, right click, and go down to intersect faces with the model. That's going to overlap the two letters and create these lines where they meet, where they overlap. And that's super important. So make sure you select, then you do intersect faces from your right click, because now I can slowly start taking out sections of this intersection and create something like this. So that I'm taking out the inside of the S, but I'm also taking out the inside of the D until all that's left is an S on one side and a D on the other side. Obviously on the back, it's backwards. Same for the other. But you are slowly taking out pieces. This is going to take a lot of just slow work, because if I go too fast, what can happen after I explode these? What can happen is I delete something that's actually important to the whole object, and then I have a problem. So for example, if I delete with a backspace right now after selecting this inside section, I just need to be very careful, because if I take something out that's part of the other letter, then I end up needing to backtrack, and it can get really messy really fast. So all I'm saying is take your time so that you can undo if you do something that you didn't mean to do. But I'm slowly hollowing out all the insides. And now that I just deleted a bunch of stuff, I'm going to take a look around and see if there's anything that I deleted that I didn't want to delete. No, it looks pretty good, so I'll keep going one piece at a time, taking out a line, taking out a face like that. Oops, see there, I didn't want to delete that, so I undo, and I keep going. Okay, so now that the inside of the D is hollowed out, you're going to do the same for the S. But this is where it gets kind of confusing, because if I take out this whole section, the S leaves behind the shape of the D on the side, all right? So you're going to just have to trial and error, go through, delete something, look around, see, oh, wait, I deleted too much, or yes, that's perfect, and keep going like that. But you can see as I start deleting this, it's leaving behind the shape of the D inside of the S. So you can start to see how it works. But again, trial and error.